Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 2 of starting my own fashion brand. And so much has happened since we last caught up. If you are new here, then I have already done my first video, just showing you the very early stages of the process. And that went on from about March, April time all the way up to now, which we are now in August. I don't think I've vlogged for this in at least 2 months because so much has happened, yet nothing has happened. And I want to just kind of intro this video and fill you in on all the dramas, the sagas of what's been going on, the despair. Honestly, there's been a lot of despair, there's been a lot of happy moments, there's been a lot of everything, and I'm kind of a bit sad that I've not vlogged more, but in a way, there's going to be so much more to do, so it's all good. So to really very quickly just give you a very quick overview of the last 2 months. So where we left off in the last vlog was that I had designed some pieces, and I had designed 4 pieces: a blazer dress and 2 dresses. And I had just started the process of finding a factory who are going to be able to bring those ideas to life. And I was also waiting for fabrics to arrive so I can have a feel of what fabrics I want to go for. Bearing in mind, if you're new here, I am totally new to this. I'm not qualified in fashion. The only experience I have is through creating content and through my passion for it since a child. But I've got no background at uni or anything like that in terms of buying fabrics, production, the technical drawing side of things, none of it. I'm learning everything as we go, literally everything. It's just been a lot. And oh my God, did I underestimate people that started a fashion brand? Unintentionally, yes. This process has taught me how freaking hard it is. But anyways, so I had my designs. I was like, right, find a factory. I thought I'll go with 2 factories because you want to get a feel for what people can produce. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad I went with 2 because it just showed me how different the work could truly be. And I'm going to insert for you guys factory 1 now, and then you'll see me again in a second. Here is factory 1 blazer. Right guys, we're here for the grand reveal of sample 1. So this is a blazer. For one, the colour is not nice, but that's not the factory's fault. I chose the colour that they sent me. When you actually see what this is meant to be like and what it's like, it's hilarious. Basically, so I had a pack made, a technical pack with all the measurements of what this blazer was meant to be. And I was actually sampling this blazer in a size 12. They literally went rogue, they didn't listen to any of the measurements. It's come back and it is tiny, it's smaller than my size 10 blazers. I want to say this is probably a size 8. Yeah, let me just stand back. So it's not 10 out of 10 awful. I just put on a little white set underneath so you can kind of get a feel. Let me just put you back a tad more. So this is the blazer. Now the cuffs are meant to be buttoned double cuff. That was a key feature of my design. Look how short the arms are. They're actually hilariously short. That is ridiculous. And I'm 5'3", so normally sleeves are too long for me. It's typical, guys. My battery's just died on my better camera that has better audio. I'm just bringing up at the minute the picture of what this was meant to look like. But like I say, everything was measured. When I tell you I went crazy on measurement, I spent so many hours per item figuring out the perfect length of the sleeves and stuff. And I actually added a few extra centimeters because they always say start a bit bigger because you can always reduce, whereas if you haven't got enough fabric you can't obviously pin it to shorten it, if that makes sense. So yeah, when this arrived, like I say, with ridiculously short sleeves, that was one thing. But yeah, the actual cuffs were meant to look like this. They're meant to be quite big, thicker on the inside, thin on the out, and then 3 buttons on the outside to pin it. As you can see, they put the buttons on the inside, and this is just a flimsy little bit of fabric that's flapping. This is not giving luxury. And the button quality as well is really poor. It's plastic on the back. If I sold this to someone, I'd actually be embarrassed, basically. Let me do it up to show you. So yeah, that is blazer 1. So I've been sampling 2 belts, and again, let me just show you what belt number 1 was meant to look like. So belt number 1, where is she at? I can't find the picture. Basically, belt number 1 was meant to have the same buttons as the cuff, but running along here. But as you can see, they've put them that way, and stuff like this shouldn't happen because when you've actually sent them a technical thing with all the measurements, that just shouldn't happen. There's no kind of excuse for it. Yeah, anyway, this belt, you can clearly see it's too long. Like I say, the buttons are in the wrong place. The fabric is just not nice on this one. It's flimsy, it feels cheap. It just isn't giving that premium sort of feel. And then belt number 2 was meant to be a pleated belt that looked like this. because it's meant to be pleated. Because again, this is not a feature I've ever seen. I'm really trying to do things that are unique. Like, I know a long belt is not like a original idea. Like, I know that that's like quite a common thing now, but I still wanted to make my own version, you know, because I love a belt to cinch in. But like, anyway, this is the pleated belt I was sent. Like, what? It's just like a flappy piece of fabric. I don't even know what they were thinking, and it was meant to have lovely buttons on it, and they've just put like poppers on it, and this bit's like spinning around. It's very peculiar. I can't even bother to like put it on because you can clearly just see it's just a shambles. So yeah, that was blazer number 1. And you know what, I wasn't even annoyed when it arrived because I just knew straight away, like as soon as they sent it to me, I was like, no. And guess what happened when I went back to them and kind of said my frustrations? I was like, look, I'm gonna leave it here, like, you know, they're still trying to push me to proceed. I was honest and said, well, this literally didn't follow the tech pack. And yeah, they just were just basically saying that they like went with what they thought. And I was like, yeah, but it is literally clearly in this document. I spent hundreds of pounds to have this document made. You haven't followed it at all. So yeah, needless to say, not going with them. So as you would have seen, that was the first blazer that I received. And without any kind of insight, you guys don't even know what I'm looking to make yet. So you're probably like, it's not too bad. Oh my God, guys, it's nothing like what I envisioned. I was literally like, when that arrived, I just thought, wow. But then a day or two later, my factory too sent my pictures through, because you get like little pictures from your factory saying this is where we're at with the process. Instantly, I knew they were who I was going to go with. Like, I just had a gut feeling. I knew they were the ones, and I felt really happy. So I'm now going to show you factory 2 blazer. Okay, so we're here to try on blazer 2. Again, I really apologise for the audio of this. I know it's not as good as the rest of the video. So before we try this blazer on, I want to say the colour is absolutely beautiful. I love this colour. I'm not going with this fabric. This fabric is so heavy, like so thick and heavy. I do not own a blazer this like heavy and thick. Everyone that's kind of seen it doesn't really understand why I don't want to use it, but yeah, anyway, let me just try this blazer on. So this blazer I sampled in a size 12. My new sample is going to be a UK 10 because I'm not a size 12, I am a 10 in terms of the size chart. So it seems silly for me to be sampling an oversized piece on me that doesn't quite work. So I'm actually downsizing for my next sample. But anyway, just in case you're wondering like why it's so kind of like big on me, this is a size 12. So here is blazer number 2 from the second factory. When I got this, I was like, yeah, they know what they're doing. Obviously there's things about this that aren't right. Like, look how long the sleeves are. That's fine. Like I say, I asked them to make this too long because I knew I would want to shorten it. But they got the memo, like they got most of this spot on. Here are the cuffs on this one. 3 buttons, like they're good quality buttons as well, the best quality you can go for. It tapers like big at the corner out. There are things I'm changing about this, like the cuffs. They are too big and they're a little bit too thick. So we're going for a slightly thinner fabric on the cuffs, just because it just feels very, like when you kind of go like this, it just feels like this weight, like weighing down the sleeve, which obviously isn't going to be comfortable on. But I love the look of the cuffs. I think they've literally, like I say, they've hit the nail on the head with that, like they've got the memo. With this one, I did a flap at the back. I'm not sure what this is called. I am removing that on my next sample because it just doesn't give the desired look when you add the belts. So belt number 1, this is ridiculously too big, okay? Again, I went too big on purpose so I could get a feel for like what I wanted the belts to be like. But yeah, this is the belt. As you can see, when you add the belt, it kind of like pulls the blazer apart, just gives it another vibe. So yeah, clearly the belt's too long, but I'm thinking like a similar sort of style belt to this, but shorter, and then with the matching buttons to match the cuffs. I think that would look really nice. But yeah, hopefully you can kind of get a feel for it. I've added like the little welt pocket. It's got pockets on the front. Oh my God, I forgot to tell you, it's got pockets inside. I've added a pocket for your iPhone, like measured an iPhone. I know not everyone has an iPhone, but you have to like give a measurement. I've made a pocket inside because this is too small. This has been redone. But yeah, the pocket, I just thought was a genius idea because like nothing I own has pockets, and you always get worried about your phone getting stolen of a night out. So yeah, I did that. And then the belt, they got right. They got the memo right with the belt, the pleated belt. However, it wasn't their fault. It's just kind of like, it's what I asked them to do and it just didn't work out. So basically we added poppers because I wanted this belt to be adjustable so you could wear it, you know, different settings depending on your size of your waist. but it doesn't work because basically if you are on the loosest setting, you see all the poppers. So this belt is being ditched. I say it's being ditched, it's not. It's been completely reinvented for sample 2. It took me a long time to figure out how to make this belt work, and I've done something completely different but also similar. Very hard to explain, but yeah, it's quite a cool concept I've come up with for belt number 2. Second time round, so we're gonna have to see if number 2 looks better. But yeah, my sample is currently being made for this piece as we talk. The colour, it's too pinky, guys, but we'll have to see what it looks like on. It's so annoying with fabrics because I say this fabric is just the perfect colour, but I'm sampling this one in a different fabric just because there's too many factors to explain. But basically this one is really thick. The fabric that I'm sampling is slightly thinner but still very thick. Like this one for me, it's actually very much like a winter sort of weight. Like it's very like, I don't feel like this one's as versatile all year round, whereas the fabric I'm gonna be sampling with next time is a fabric that will work kind of all year round within reason, but it's still very thick and luxurious. But yeah, I'm very like undecided, but the colour of this one, I really love this colour, and in the new fabric I've got, you can't do this colour because I haven't got it. My next sample is not this colour, it's a different shade. It's just so hard, like, I'm so fussy. I might end up coming back to this fabric, who knows? Because I could always do this fabric if I end up releasing this year and then reduce the fabric for spring sort of colours. Like I say, it's so minimal, like you probably wouldn't even notice as a consumer the difference. And this is like how it looks without a belt, just like, you know, like I say, this is a size 12, so it is big. It's not, you know, this is not meant to be like a fitted like little blazer. It's meant to be big, but I just figured that if I'm not a size 12, it seems silly to sample something when my body measurements like bust, waist and hips actually measure as a 10, like perfect size 10. Even though on trousers I'm always a 12, which is really weird, but trousers, like, you have to consider your thighs and bum as well, whereas everything else should be a 10. So it just seems silly to me to be sampling myself in a 12 when I will just size up to a 12 for an oversized fit, but like I want my size 10 to be like more, slightly more tailored, nice piece. And then you have the option of buying your true size for a like slightly tighter fit if that's what you prefer, or you can size up and have a more oversized fit if that's what you want to go for. Because I find some brands, they just do oversized and then you can never really get your true size because it's just made to be really boxy. And like this one, I do think it's a little too boxy, so I have actually asked for the waist to be pulled in a little bit, but I've got a lot more fabric here for the bust than typical, which I wanted because it doesn't really make any difference if you don't have a bigger chest, but it makes all the difference if you've got a big chest. Like, look how far out you can come, like you've got a lot of fabric. And I also wanted the blazer a bit longer than any blazer I own. It's not a blazer dress length, but like it is longer than a traditional blazer. And also I added more fabric to the hip area because again, I find some blazers just cling to my hips and I really don't like that. And I just wanted you to feel your best self, and like you could wear this, right, nice and oversized, like just casual over your gym wear, whatever, like active wear as like a more casual look, but then you can add the belt, smarten it up and make it look that bit more like corporate-y or even night out vibes. So yeah, I feel like this blazer is nearly where I want it to be, but not quite. There's still like a big old list of things I tweaked, but like I can see the vision for this one, you know? So yeah, you'll see Factory 2 blazer was so much better. Obviously there's things to tweak and that is so normal. Like your first sample is never gonna be the end product. You can do as many as like 10 samples. I think the average is like 3 to 5, but you can go all the way up to 10. And that is just the process of you receive your sample, you critique it effectively, you send a big list of amends, the factory make them amends, and then they ship you a new piece and you repeat the process. And from start to finish of sample, amends, new sample is about 3 to 4 weeks. So it's a long old time between samples and it involves a lot of patience, which I do not have. So that's kind of where we're up to on the blazer. And we'll talk about the dress afterwards because the dress is just an absolute shambles. So that was the blazer. Where we're at in the process with the blazer is I love the manufacturing side of my factory. Like they're so good with tailoring, they're so good with stitching. They work on some very well-known brands. So I'm so lucky to have to be with them basically. So I'm really chuffed with my factory. I feel like it goes without saying that, guys, I've picked someone that obviously pays their staff really well. Like it's a very high spec, good quality, like good factory. Staff are well treated, very good working conditions, all certificates for all of that stuff. Like the price point of my garments is going to be obviously higher as a result, but I don't want to be part of anything but that. So, you know, just in case you're wondering. And my factory is in China. And when I first looked into this process, I wasn't sure what country to go with. And actually, the more research I've done, I've realised how innovative and how highly skilled they are in China. You just can't beat their prices anywhere else in the world, really, for the quality, the fact they're actually paying their staff a good rate. All of these things you have to consider. And there are factories in the UK, but actually not all of them are, you know, I'm not going to say anything, but yeah, basically just, I used to think, why does everyone make stuff in China? And now I see why. When I see the quality of the work, what they can offer, how highly skilled they are, how brilliant everything is, like, yeah, China is where it's at for manufacturing. So that is where I've gone in the world for my manufacturing. Yeah, so anyways, I made these tweaks with my first blazer and sent them to the factory, but I wasn't happy with the fabric. Now, I am so freaking picky beyond belief, to my detriment, because by now I could have had a product ready to launch. That is how much I've slowed myself down because I'm just so picky. I've had multiple suppliers find fabrics for me, send them to me, not happy with them. Like, I'm just like, nope, that's not good enough. Nope, that's not good enough. The fabric has to be thick. It has to be durable, high quality, a luxury feel. There are so many factors that I need to hit with my fabrics. It's just been the impossible task almost. Or when they found the fabric I want, it hasn't had the right colours. So that has massively delayed things, and that has been quite frustrating. It's no one's fault, it just is what it is. It takes time. Like, good things take time. I'm not gonna rush and do something that I'm not happy with. So unfortunately for me, this is probably gonna take a lot longer than it normally would. So I waited the last month or so just to have fabrics finalised, and I still have a big question mark as to whether the new fabrics choice is going to work. When you have a fabric sample, it is literally a tiny piece of fabric. Like, you can't really envision what that's going to be like on a big garment. It's impossible. So currently in production, we have 10 items. Now, let me just rewind that, because hang on a second, Hazel. You've only mentioned a blazer and a dress that you've had sampled. And I mentioned obviously 4 at the beginning for my collection. So how have we got from 2 to 4 to 10? So I sampled a blazer and a dress with 2 factories because I wanted to see their craftsmanship on a blazer and a dress. I thought there's no point doing all 4 pieces with them because I want to pick a factory and then we can go to the 4 afterwards for the collection. Having done that, I then decided, F it, why don't we just go hard or go home and do 10 pieces? So I basically just designed a load more stuff. I had so much stuff like come to me, like just ideas. And I just, yeah, so excited to show you all the ideas I've had. Like, I've had corporate ideas, like really smart tailored pieces, like from back in my finance days. And I've really sat and thought about what I used to wear and what I loved and what was wrong about it and how I'd love to change it. And oh my God, I've got so many more ideas. I could have like 30 samples made with all the ideas I have, but I thought 10 is a really good amount because I can get ahead of the game. I can start planning some collections for next year and actually work ahead of time instead of like work launch to launch. Honestly, there's so much I've learned, guys, like mental. But yeah, basically I'm still at this crossroads where it's like, is the fabric going to be right? I'm waiting on my sample to arrive. I'm scared. You will see me try on my new samples in this video. And I'm just ever so nervous for them to actually get here probably next week. And if the fabric is wrong, I feel like I've gone backwards because I would be no different to where I was a month ago when the first blazer sample arrived, that I was like, yeah, go with that factory. But if this sample that comes next week is no good, we still don't have the fabric I want. And then I feel like we are no closer to the end goal. And I really wanted to release this blazer for autumn 2024, which would mean production in September, because again, where it's a factory that does things right, it takes time. It's not a fast fashion factory that can pump stuff out in a matter of like a week or 2, however long they do it in. This factory takes like 2 months. So it is all slow and it's about time and care. And unfortunately for me, that means you have to work so far in advance, but also, you know, if something goes wrong, it just delays things and then it all throws everything out. So I don't know what's going on at this point. Am I launching this year? I don't even know. Am I launching 2025? I don't know. Like, honestly, it's been a big stress. So in between those 2 months of all this stuff, there's so many things I've done in the background to get my business to a point where it's actually like a business. So I have made a business. I've like sorted out a brand name. I've sorted out the logo. I've designed the website. I worked with a web developer to help me do the website, although I was super OCD and basically did loads of it myself just because I just know what I want it to be. But that was obviously really helpful, like having someone help with the coding and stuff like that. I have looked into so many different laws and legislations in terms of taxes and imports, and oh my Christ, guys, the fees associated with this are crazy. Like, when you see a piece online that's like £150 and you think, whew, that's a lot of money for a blazer, 20% of that is value-added tax, 20% is corporation tax on the profits, import tax. People pay thousands thousands of pounds just to import like 100 blazers. I'm not joking. The overheads are actually astronomical. The profit margin of what I expected this business to be to what it is now is so small compared to what I expected, but I don't care. I'm so passionate about it. I just want to do it anyway. And I'm so passionate about bringing out like an amazing product. And that's why I'm kind of going for like that mid price point. I'm not going to try and compete with the likes of Zara's at they're like 60, 70 pounds, because it would cost me more than that just to make the garment, just to put it into context. Like, it's more expensive than that with all the costs to actually have the item made, and when you're paying your taxes, it's a lot, guys. I'm just going in that mid luxury price point, amazing quality, built to last, built to be timeless, built forever. Like, I'm so passionate. I don't feel like it's coming across in this video like how I want this video to be, because like I say, so much has happened and I just feel like I'm just verbal, like vomiting at you. I've basically been waking up between like anywhere from 6:30 in the morning, for me that's very early, back and forth with my manufacturer all morning, nearly every single day for a few hours because of the time difference. And that has really thrown out my other work that I do. Everything's just, you know, taken time. My focus is so shifted on my business now that I'm not even really thinking about anything else. Like, I live, sleep, breathe it. Seriously. If you don't have the like dedication to do that, oh my god, if you're watching this, don't even bother trying, because you will literally become your brand. Like, your brand and you are one literally with each other, because it's all I think about, it's all I talk about, it's the only thing I care about. I mean, it's not, I care about a lot of things, but like, it's just so prominent all the time. It's like the first thing I do when I wake up. I don't even have my nice little morning routine, cup of tea, straight awake within 2 minutes, right, bam, onto the factory. It's not healthy, I know, but unfortunately, you've got to do what you've got to do to get the job done. And that's what it's like right now, especially with those time zone differences. I'm going to try and wrap this up quickly because, like I say, my samples will be here next week. We can go through them together and that'll be more fun for you than just listening to me go on at you like this. But let me tell you guys, it's like, when you think about just doing a fashion brand, I just thought, oh, some sketches, picking some fabrics, getting them made, a few tweaks here and there, cool. My mind has been absolutely well and truly blown, like, onto another planet. Seriously. Like, the learning I have done, my learning for like the last year has been like this, just like 0.5% of learning, like flatlining, borderline. And this like last few months has been literally like, I have learned the most I've learned since school, or at least since doing my finance exams. Like, it's actually been really good for my brain, I think, my personal development. Boy oh boy, like, is this building resilience, because there's been so many things at this point that have gone wrong where I'm like, I could give up over and over, but I don't even think about giving up. Like, I'm so determined for this to happen and I'm so passionate about it, and I'm just like, I feel like this is my dream. Like, this is what I've always wanted to do, and I kind of forgot about it for years, and I'm so passionate about like the product I'm going to be making and who it's suitable for, and making women feel so amazing. Like, my core kind of brand like messaging, which I'm currently like doing a little course on branding and all this as well. But before I kind of have the tailored, perfected version of what it is, my core kind of brand message and what I'm offering and all of that is basically allowing women access to luxury items without the designer price tag, that are designed to enhance your figure. I have really thought, guys, about literally everything, like parts of your leg that you might not like and parts of your arms that you might be wanting to cover. Like, as a girl who, you know, can get a little bit insecure about my figure, I've really thought about problem areas and ways to really enhance your figure and make you look great, whilst also creating styles that can be worn multiple ways, that can be worn to the office, but also out after work, and dress up and dress down, and be worn now, 5 years, 10 years, and they will still be as classy and as fashionable now as they are then, as they would be whenever. Like, there is no time limit on these pieces. And I just want pieces that women, literally, they open their wardrobe and they're like, the age-old question of, I don't know what to wear, is gone. You know what you're wearing, you've got my collection, you're picking the piece out, and you know, I can wear this so many ways, I'm always going to look good, I'm going to show up as my best self today, because when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, you do good, and that is exactly what I want my brand to be. I want the brand to be a brand that makes you feel incredible about yourself, and you perform your best because you're looking your best, and you haven't had to stress about your outfit, and you haven't got to buy a new outfit for an occasion because you know you've got that trusty dress that you can head to, with the trusty trousers or the blazer that make you feel great, that you can wear so many ways that it never feels like an old outfit. It always feels refreshed and new in your wardrobe. And I am just so excited, guys, to bring you along and show you the products and actually have a final product in my hand, because right now is literally still the early days. So anyway, I'll check in with you next week when my samples are here. And hopefully next week as well, my swing tags and labels and all that will be here too. I haven't even revealed the name yet. you might already know at this point, but yeah, anyways, bye. Hey guys, we are a few days after the last time I checked in with you and my battery's literally flashing, so I don't know what possessed me to pick up the camera today to film, but I thought I'd just update you with where we're at. Today's very much a business day. You can see my laptop in the background and I'm actually applying for my business bank account right now. So my trademark opposition period ended yesterday, which means the trademark is mine. So cool. Got the name. 2 weeks until it's legally mine. So now that's all done. I thought, right, apply for the business bank account. I've already had lots of chats and I've decided who I want to go with. Had to find a company that has the most competitive charges when it comes to international fees, which are extortionate with my current business account. So yeah, I needed to find someone more cost competitive. So honestly, all these things take so much research. You obviously look online, I do lots of comparisons, I've spoken to multiple banks on the phone, it's a lot, the business side of things. So yeah, that's what I've done. So yeah, today is applying for my bank account. I've got to take a nice little picture with my passport as well. And my samples, I don't even know if they're going to be here next week. I've spoke to the factory and they're kind of a little bit behind, which is very common. It's kind of a good thing in a way, because if a factory is busy and they're behind, it means they're really, really busy. Whereas when a factory is really, really quick, sometimes, not always, but sometimes that can mean they've not got much work on. So obviously the more in demand a factory is, the slower it is. But it's just frustrating for me. I just obviously want my samples with me urgently. And I don't know if I said again, when I spoke to you guys at the beginning of this week, but I'm just so worried about the fabric and when it arrives, if it's going to be what I want, because there's been a lot of choosing via the phone, just seeing a picture and deciding, because the shipping back and forth is so expensive and time consuming as well. So it's a case of when the samples arrive, I'm going to know if I can launch this year or not, which is, I'm just really nervous. Because if I can launch this year, then it's going to be rush, rush, rush. But if I can't, I'm going to be a bit disappointed that I've rushed loads and then it still wasn't going to happen this year. But just have to leave it down to fate, and what will be will be. But honestly, finding the colours, I can't even stress to you how hard it's been. My factory found the sort of fabric I wanted and it was just in neon-y colours. I was devastated. I'd waited weeks and I just got these neon colour pictures through and I was it's really hard. It's very, very hard. I had no idea how hard finding these sort of neutral shades I want is going to be. It's nigh on impossible. I don't know why. The reason why big brands don't have this problem is because they can custom dye any colour they like. But when you're dealing with small quantities, you're really, really limited. You're really limited as to what you can go for. So that's kind of annoying, but it's just the downfall of being a small business, which hopefully one day I won't be, but you've got to start somewhere. And I've also been having discussions today on models as well for my garments, because I'd really love to show the brand on a variety of shapes, sizes, all that stuff. I want my brand to show that you're going to feel beautiful in it, no matter how tall, short, slim, curvy, whatever. I want my brand to make you feel incredible, and I think the best way to do that is actually represent it on multiple figures, not just one size. That's something I struggle with when I'm buying clothing. A lot of them, the model is just a certain size and you can never envision what that's going to look like on you. So I think I'm going to model for the brand being that 10 to 12 size, 5'3", and then I want to also get a model who is a size kind of 6 to 8, and then also a model who's a 14, 16. So just to show it across a variety of sizes. And of course, as the brand grows and if there's the demand there, then I would love to open up my size range further. But when you start out, it's just not possible. Just picking the vlog back up here, it's the same day as when you just saw me. My other camera died and I've just filmed the try on. So I thought I'd just quickly explain what I meant when I was saying about the sizing and catering to people. Basically, I've learned all of this. So when it comes to sizing, most brands, not all brands, but this is what majority of brands do, they will sample on a size 6 and then they will have that size 6 template scaled up for all their other sizes. And the problem is typically, not always, but typically the size 6 they use will be a lot more slender and maybe less curves. So when you do go up the scale and body proportions can get bigger in certain areas, it doesn't really allow for that, which is why often you'll find I struggle a lot, for example, with trousers for them to fit my hips right and all these things. And no brand can get it right. Let me just put it out there, you can't please everyone. You cannot cater to every body type. It's literally not possible because we are all so different. But that's kind of what most brands do. I'm going to be sampling on myself, so I'm bang in the middle at 10 to 12. So I'm really hoping that by doing that, scaling my sizes down to a 6 and up to a 16 should account for you know, the extra curves and stuff, but still allowing a size that will fit people that are more slender and more curvy. Kind of, that's basically my vision. I really hope that me sampling on me makes this brand better in terms of sizing. I mean, it's going to be a trial and error, right? But that's kind of what I'm doing. But basically, when you go petite or curve I think is actually classed as 16 and up. I am doing 16. And I think petite is classed as 5'3" and below. So again, I'm borderline on the petite, but I'm not petite. I think I'm just borderline. You have to completely do the sample process as if it was a new garment, because you have to account for the differences in petite or curve. And basically that would mean sampling on loads of different body types, like loads and loads of different body types, and also it would be a whole new production line with your factory. So when I tell you it would cost you thousands and thousands just in research to get your piece, and then your factory would need a whole new minimum order of 100 units minimum for curve and for petite. So for startup brands, you physically can't do it. Like, I'm busting my ass just to do what I'm doing, and that is why you won't see petite or curve ranges from smaller brands. You know, it's when brands get bigger, and when brands get bigger and they don't do it, I think that's when, you know, like, that's their choice and they're deciding not to do that. They absolutely can't afford to do that. But yeah, when you're small, like, that's why. Just for anyone that's watching, and again, if like you think, why hasn't she done this, that is why. Like, if I could, I would, but you just can't. You have to start somewhere, and you have to kind of figure out what your target audience is as well, and if there's enough demand. And also the same applies for tulle. Again, tulle of course would then be testing out on different heights, and also doing a whole new line with your factory, which again is just not possible when you're at a small scale. Because effectively, let's say I bring this blazer out, which I'm wearing now. This is just my normal range, right? But if I did everything, you'd have a tulle range, a petite range, a curve range, and just the standard range. That's 4 ranges. So that's literally 4 times my overheads, and already, like, the overheads are so much for small brands, because when you're small, your price of everything is so much higher than a big brand, because where you're doing it in such small quantities, the fabric costs more, the factory charge you more. Like, everything is so much more expensive for a startup brand, like I say, than it would be a big brand. So yeah, hopefully that just gives you a bit of insight. Like, anything I learn, I want to share with you guys, because I've learned so much, and I didn't know any of these things. So yeah, hopefully it's all helpful. Today is the 14th of August, and I have made the executive decision today to postpone till next year, because basically it was all riding on one particular product coming back perfect pretty much in the next sample round, and because of how long things have taken, I don't think I'm gonna get the samples still until next week. Like, I keep saying it's gonna be next week, it's gonna be next week, but there's just been so many things to work through between me and the factory, like finding the right fabrics, as I've mentioned before, finding the right colours. Then sometimes the fabric colour hasn't been in stock, which has then caused delays. There's honestly so many things that can cause delays when you are a small business. Bigger companies, I think I've already said, they can custom dye, whereas when you're a small business, you're relying on, like, it's a lot harder basically to get the products made. Sometimes, like, the fabrics can just be a little bit harder to get hold of. You're not buying in bulk, so they don't like favour your customers much. But yeah, that's just something that's been going on. So anyway, I kind of sat there this week. I got really, really stressed out, as per always. And I just thought to myself, even if they came back perfect, which is highly unlikely for samples to come back perfect first time round, because one of the things I wanted to launch this year was a blazer dress, and I haven't even sampled it yet. I'm putting a lot of pressure on it being perfect first time, which is highly unlikely. But if it is, then I thought to myself, I could, you know, quickly turn it around. But the more I've been thinking about strategy, I really want my brand to represent women, different women. Part of that is going to be the social media coverage and like the content I take and the outfits. Ultimately, that's what gets the brand out there. If I had done this, it just wouldn't have given me any time at all to actually get the content I wanted. I found some amazing girls who are happy to work with me, and I feel like I've got a very good variety of shapes and sizes, ethnicities, etc. Because like I said, I really want this brand to be a brand that looks great on everyone, and I want everyone to feel like they're a part of it, because they are. Representing a wide variety is really key to me. And if I launch this year, even if the product was spot on, which is probably not going to be this early on, so it was wishful thinking, I'm not going to have the time to do that, because I'm going to have to get the stock here first, and then I'll use some of that stock to then take the content in, and it would have just been so rushed. So as much as it saddens me to say I'm going to push it back to next year, which you guys won't even care, because by the time you watch this video, it probably will be next year, or at least getting close to it. But yeah, basically January January, February are a no-no for the fashion industry to launch because it's just been Christmas. The demand isn't there. People are waiting for their spring wardrobe. So I'm going to launch, I think, pre-spring, which is the end of March 2025. That is the date I'm setting in mind. And you know what? Like, I feel kind of relieved again, because I just think to myself, like, I kind of made this decision a few months back and then I got excited again and then brought it back into this year. But yeah, I've pushed that back, and I have the same feeling I had when I first made this decision a few months back, is that it just gives me time. And I think time is so important. I want to get the product right, and I want to get the marketing right and the content right. Rushing it will block my creativity, make it stressful, unenjoyable, and just isn't like putting it into the market in the light that I want it to be put into the market in. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Since I last saw you, I actually ordered myself a printer, and I've started to build some really cool little documents for like photo shoots and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be working on. Instead of fixating on when are my samples going to get here, like I'm just going to focus on things I can do in my time to make the brand really exciting, so that everything's ready to go when it gets to the point of photography. So yeah, I'm going to be building cute little bits. I'll show you guys soon. I'm conscious this video is getting so long already. We're probably at like nearly 40 minutes. So what I will do is I will stop recording now. I will wait until my products are here, which I assume will be maybe next week. And then I will show you the samples of just a few items. I'm not going to show you all 10 items because some of them are going to be for like summer 2025. So keeping them under wraps. But I'll show you some of the products just so you get a feel for it, especially the blazer. I want you to see the journey of that blazer and where we're at now. The good thing is if I launch in spring, it means that that blazer fabric that I wasn't sure about, the new fabric, if you can keep up with me, I know I'm all over the place. The original fabric I showed you, beautiful fabric, but very thick and heavy, more winter appropriate, I'd say, not so much all year round. New fabric I picked is meant to be a very good fabric all year round. Thick, great quality, but not ridiculously thick where it's gonna make you boiling in spring. So that fabric would actually be perfect, I think, for a spring launch, which means maybe the fabric will be okay after all. But anyways, yes, I will see you when the samples are finally here and I'm trying them on. And I'll also show you some of the marketing bits. Maybe I'll save the marketing stuff actually for my next video. The next video can be building the brand around the business, which is what I've been learning all about. Yeah, I think that's gonna be quite a cool video actually. Guys, it's the 27th of August now and my samples have just arrived, and I'm absolutely not even joking when I say I am bricking it. I am bricking it. I am scared to open this package and see what is inside, because it's either gonna be like, you know, really good or really bad. And the last bit of time, I haven't even got proper scissors, I'm using bloody nail scissors to get into it. But the last bit of time since we last caught up, there's just been so many curveballs. I won't get into it, but there's been a lot of ups and downs, and yeah, I'm just very anxious today. I'm really scared. Okay, yeah, that's definitely not right. My worst fear has come to life. The items have literally arrived and they are pink. Oh, guys. Disappointed. Quite disappointed, actually. Right, I'm going to deal with this off camera and then I'll come back. But yeah, I'm disappointed.